D1. Okay? And D1 looks like this. Again, just brief review. Squeeze my hand and pull up and across. So you want to smell the elbow, wrist flexion, and then we get wrist extension, wrist up, and we come down, grab the pisiform down into extension. Okay? So that's D1. Looks familiar? Right. So and we always did it with one hand, just to emphasize the traction that comes up and across, and wrist up, and again tractioning at the condyles here and all the way down. Tractioning for movement, approximation for stability. Wouldn't want to do this on someone who had a flaccid extremity. We would do more functional positions or prone on elbows and work in that position because it's approximating and that creates stability. Okay? So that's D1 and the anterior elevation, posterior depression. So now, flip over one more time. Again, just a quick review. Again, patient position, stick your bottom in just the same bit, the other way. Hold on. So, you can't see it, but so that's really important. They have to be in line. And again, watching the fifth extremity of the head. And let's just take this off so I know it's going to happen. I'm just going to bop you in the head. Okay. So, we want to do the, again, table pattern of anterior depression, posterior elevation. And you often, if you can remember, that you have to stabilize that scapula along the rib cage. That was the key to those proximal patterns of the scapula, is that if someone is winging, which you're not that much, but if someone is winging, what you want to do is you really want to just sort of tuck that scapula down onto the rib cage. So as you are performing table patterns or mobilizations, or just simply ranging the patient and actively assisting in this motion, you want to keep that scapula on the rib cage. Easier to do when they're in alignment. And so pull down towards your belly, good, and push up and back. Beautiful. So she's a little out. I'd want her a little bit more in by her ear. And if you remember the trick of take them where you want them to be and just what? Hold. Hold here, don't let me move you. So it's really just like a finger's breadth away from the posterior ear, and let it down slow. Ooh, okay, not so slow. All right, but so what does that tell you? She didn't go down so slow. So she has no control there, right? She's not used to being here. So hold here. Don't let her move you, nice and easy. Let it down slow. Slow, slow. Hold right there. Push back up towards me. Good, and then we hold there, and let it down slow again. Let it go away, and now push all the way back up. Good, now she's in the groove. So that's a little trick that always works. The end range hold, then the eccentrics down a little bit in that range that they're weakest in, and then push back up, go through the whole range then. And usually they're in the groove, what we call in the groove. So that pattern, flip to your back, anterior depression, posterior elevation, goes with this pattern, the D2, which is across the midline and up and back here. So this is your famous bilateral upper extremity extension, or flexion, okay, where you do it bilaterally usually. So wrist up, good, thumbs back, down, you bow, squeeze my hand, pull across, pull across, pull across. Good. So that's quite nice, and this pattern we do often for breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, and we do this often in functional position. And the up and back is useful if you look at it with bent elbow. It's useful for combing hair, doing anything posteriorly, and coming down is doing anything across the body, such as toileting or getting in and out of car, things like this. So you always want to think, well, what function does this match with? But really, any of the upper extremity diagonals would work. But you really want to think specifically to what's limited in the patient. And crossing midline, this is great for someone who might have a neglect, because you want them to totally cross midline in front of them. That's what they're going to have the hardest time with. I was going to say something about the patient on your midterm video, but if this goes on for other classes, I can't give away the answer. So,
you want me to turn it off?
Yeah, just turn it off.